Ingram Publishing Services makes a move that might actually help indies, all while helping them in the competition against you-know-who. Ebook sales are up in countries where English is not their first language. We're going to introduce you to the Netflix of books, all while J.B. Taylor introduces you to his Netflix movie pick of the week. And we're going to take you to a place where indie filmmakers, musicians, and authors alike can make money. And if you're a geek or nerd, you already know where that is. All while previewing this Friday's GoIndieNow live discussion panel with Markie. This is the very first, and welcome to This Week in Indies. Hello everybody and welcome to This Week in Indies. I'm your host Joe Compton, and I'm really glad you joined us for our very first show. And I would like to start by talking about an article I read in Publishers Weekly just recently in the business section about Ingram Publishing Services. Ingram Publishing Services has obtained the rights to purchase the international capabilities of the National Book Network International, which was located in Plymouth, England. The MBNI was founded 14 years ago by a Maryland-based National Book Network, but does international distribution for both print and digital books. And according to Ingram, this client services business will complement their wide range of digital, physical, and print-on-demand solutions, which should sound pretty good to indies. And I'm wondering if indies in our international side of things have checked out Ingram, as we do know that they are part of the indie network with Ingram Spark, and their print on demand runs through Ingram Spark, and it gives internationals maybe another chance, another alternative other than Amazon, which we all know has its limitations, especially if you're international. And I'm wondering if anybody else thinks this is good news on the American front, because competition is always good, but I'm wondering if it's not something that might hurt the print-on-demand business in America, North America. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on the subject. So leave your comments below and let me know what you think, and maybe we can all have a discussion about this very subject. Another story I ran across on Publishers Weekly was about how ebooks are up in other countries. In China, it's up 6%. In France, it's up 4.2%. In Germany, it's 8%. And the list goes on and on. The only place it's down, really, internationally, other than in North America, which it is steady in USA and Canada, it's not down per se, it's about even, is Australia. And this article attributes that to GST, although with digital printing and even on-demand printing, Amazon is exempt from GST at the moment. They got an exemption from the government. Most e-commerce sites did that are not based in Australia. And so I'm not sure what is causing Australia's down, but maybe our friends in Australia, I'm wondering if they've seen something to that effect, or if it's just a downturn in the marketplace. But this brings up a different point for me in terms of, I'm wondering from all of you indie authors out there and indie audiobooks as well, because indie audiobooks are starting to make a marketplace as well. I'm wondering, this article didn't mention whether or not that was in native tongue sales or if it was in English sales. So I'm wondering how much you take into account the international market and how much you decide to market there and what you do to market there. Is there something that indies can do to help capture this growth and help their own sales? Is translation an option for indies? There are some translation services out there. I looked at a few, and I found that they were all still pretty unreasonable in terms of the price point. I don't know if there's anybody who is watching our show that is a translator that might offer their services. And I'm just curious if anybody, I know that a lot of us have thought about translating our book. Me especially. There's niche marketplaces out there for genres. Like my book is a crime thriller, and I know that Germany, it's very popular. Crime thrillers are. It's the most popular place actually to sell crime thrillers. And I've tried to market it in English, and it didn't really pan out for me all that well. And I looked into translation services, and that was a nightmare. It was really, really outrageously expensive, and they don't have anything like ACX for translation services. And I'm wondering if that's something that you'd like to see happen. Do you think that it's a viable marketplace for you, and can you sell amongst, internationally, even in English, or maybe passionately put it into a different language? I know for China it's a really tough thing because they speak so many different languages in China, but I'm just curious to know what you all think about that. So that's another article I ran across. I also just saw a Twitter from filmmaker, I'm going to get his name right here, filmmaker Chad Hartigan, who of course has got this great movie called A Ghost Story coming out with Casey Affleck. It looks pretty awesome, and Rooney Mara. And he was making a point about the price of tickets for indie films. Is it really fair that if you go to a cinema that you pay the same amount of money for an indie film, a film that really was made for a lot less, has not a lot of budget to promote itself, that you would for a juggernaut like Spider-Man Homecoming that you can't get away from the promotion of, that is everywhere, that has tie-ins and different TV spots and all of that. And he makes a somewhat valid point in terms of that. So is it fair that indie films pay $15? You pay $15 to go see an indie film, just as you would pay $15 to go see a blockbuster film. I don't think the industry is going to change anytime soon. I think movie theaters base their costs on what costs to run, and digital printing these days has really destroyed the cost of going to the movies, because it costs a lot to make a digital print. And in most cases, it costs a lot of films their entire post-production budget, and they don't have room to market. So I'm curious from my indie filmmaker friends out there what you think of that idea, and would you champion something like that? Is there something we can do as a community that might bring light to what Chad Hartigan has been saying? I think there might be, if we're a loud enough voice, if that is a voice that we all agree with. That being said, I want to bring in a couple of my friends for the show. Now, we're going to get a weekly update from C. Pentecoff, who runs a Novel Connection. GoIndieNow and a Novel Connection, I'm proud to announce, has reached a great partnership that we're going to be working with one another, and you're going to see a lot of both of us on each other's networks. And so, with a Novel Connection, this week we're going to have C. Pentecoff introduce herself and her site to you, but weeks going forward, she's going to introduce you to some new releases out there, some books that have just been added to the site that you can go and check out. This is a great service. I definitely recommend it. I am a member now, and I've really enjoyed combing through the site and seeing what is all out there.
Hello, I am C. Pentecoff, fantasy author and owner and founder of A Novel Connection, the Netflix of books. I am super excited because A Novel Connection has teamed up with GoIndieNow. I am going to be doing a little segment every week on GoIndieNow where I'm going to be telling you about our newly added books and our hot and trending books sometimes. But for this first video, I'm just going to break down A Novel Connection for the readers and writers. That way you actually know who we are. For the readers, we are the Netflix of books. That probably gives you a pretty good idea, but I'm just going to take it further. We are an online library of books that readers subscribe to for only $1.99 per month. Okay? Now, we have a Kitty Connection for children. We have a Reader Connection for the teenagers, or the adults. Each of those subscriptions are only $1.99 per month. You get unlimited downloads. That means you can download as many books as you want, as often as you want. We get new books in every Wednesday. So as some books are leaving, new books are being added. So you're never going to get bored with a novel connection. That pretty much breaks it down for the readers. Of course, if you want to subscribe or get more information, head to www.anovelconnection.com. For the writers, this is a really exciting and brand new opportunity. What you're basically using a Novel Connection for is another platform to get your name out there, to get your books in readers' hands. But what's really unique about this opportunity for writers is you're also using it to present your books to the scouts using a Novel Connection to find new talent. Now, by scouts, we mean literary agents and publishers. So what we're basically doing is we are trying to merge literary agents, publishers, and writers from the current system of email querying to using a Novel Connection instead. It's much faster, it's much more efficient. It kind of fits in with the modern world. Like I said, we're brand new. You want to get in now. Now is the time. Okay, again, if you have any more questions about this, you just head to our website. You'll find out a lot more there. You can go to our Facebook, which is facebook.com/anovelconnection.com. I also want to add, for writers, we promote all of our books that are in there. We don't necessarily make any specific promises about how much we promote each individual book, but know that your books are being promoted by us, not just by being on our website, but your books are being promoted outside of our website as well. Don't forget to go indie now.
Along with A Novel Connection, we have also partnered with Taylor Talks and Mr. J.B. Taylor. And J.B. Taylor is going to introduce you to his Netflix pick of the week. You know, sometimes we're out filming long days, or we're in writing sessions where we're cramming, and we need to take some time to unwind and prop ourselves down on the couch or lay down in bed with a loved one, and the first instinct we have is to put on Netflix and maybe watch a movie. But Netflix is so hard to navigate. There are so many movies, and they keep adding, and which is awesome. We're very happy that Netflix has embraced the digital revolution and has become a part of our lexicon, especially for indie films. It's been a really, really big godsend, and you know, I applaud Netflix tremendously, as they do Amazon Prime. But that being said, you pay monthly, and you start to wonder if it's worth it, if they're going to recommend to you only the TV shows that they produce, or, you know, which is fine. Binge watching TV shows is great, and we may get into some of those as well, because those are indie productions just as much as a movie is. But there is an independent section, and there is, I think I counted last time, was 262 films in that independent section. It's kind of hard to navigate, because then if you put yourself on the film, the thing that Netflix does now is the film starts while you're doing it, and you kind of get that, okay, I guess I'm watching this movie. So we decided, JB and I, that he's a self-proclaimed cinephile, and he is someone who loves to watch movies, and he has graciously agreed to come on every week and give you one that you can pick up this weekend if you just type it in and search for it. And so, without further ado, take it away, JB.
Thanks, Joe. I'm JB Taylor of Taylor Talks, and this is Taylor Talks' Netflix Pick of the Week. My pick for the week is Knights of Badassdom. This film stars Peter Dinklage, Summer Glau, Ryan Kwanten, and Steve Zahn. Knights of Badassdom takes place predominantly in a forest. These super nerds partake in a LARP, otherwise known as live action roleplay. This is essentially Dungeons and Dragons off the board and in the real world. Zahn and Dinklage give fine performances. Dinklage especially, he went for it. Zahn, he's always good. Like Glau, you really can't go wrong with him. Zahn's character plays a wizard, and as a wizard will do, he'll cast spells. Now, to make things more authentic, Zahn buys a spell book off eBay, only he thinks it's fake, but it turns out not to be. And he, reading from this book, inadvertently releases a demon. And that is where our story starts. What follows is a story that's not afraid to poke fun at itself a little bit. It is tremendously funny, it is deliciously nerdy, and it's just an all-around good time. Everyone turns in a solid performance. It's not a film, though, to be taken too seriously. It is a fun, sort of rainy day flick. It's the kind of film that pop some popcorn, plop down on the couch, and get to streaming. And enjoy. It's a guaranteed good time. And that is my Taylor Talks Netflix Pick of the Week. Back to you, Joe.
I'm here with Heather Fleshman of Enchantedly Entangled, our website that we're going to feature this week. And tell everybody about what Enchantingly Entangled is.
Well, Enchantingly Entangled started out as my own personal needs company to do the promoting and everything when I first started writing back in 2007. And since then, it has morphed into this massive project that has promoted everything from local recording companies and bands across the United States and Canada. And now I'm moving into building this new website, and it has everything from tattoo artists to aromatherapy to I am basically starting over from scratch and giving the opportunity to local business owners, other authors, other artists, production companies, anybody that needs a fresh start is going to come into Enchantingly Entangled, and I'm basically promoting them using my name for free.
Why is your service important to authors, or actually to artists?
Everybody needs a place to start. When I got into this business, I didn't have any background or any information whatsoever in promotions or marketing, or even, I started off with an English background. I didn't know crap about computers. So that is what I wanted to be able to offer people, is the hard work that I put into it for the last 11 years and the knowledge and the database that I have grown. I wanted to be able to offer that to people who didn't know where to begin.
What does your service entail completely? If someone was to come to you and say, I need help promoting myself, where do they begin? How do they start this process?
Mainly we take the social media networks that they already have, and we teach them how to mass produce results that they're looking for by not just gaining, the likes and the Twitter feeds and the things like that, but to get actual customers through these products. Because anybody can get 1,000 likes on their Facebook, but that doesn't mean they got 1,000 people that are going to buy their books tomorrow when they put one out. So it's mainly just getting their name out there and giving them the opportunity to have this sort of marketing from somebody that was already established.
I also want to talk about an article I read in Indie Publishing News. If you don't have Indie Publishing News, go to the link in the description box in YouTube. It's totally free. It is a great little zine that comes out every once a month. It is awesome, and I really enjoy all the articles in there, and there's a bunch of reviews. You can get your book reviewed, you can get your movie reviewed. They have a bunch of opinion articles. They have a bunch of great experts talking. There's some great interviews. If you've never been interviewed by them, reach out to them, and they'll interview you as well. It's a great publication. And there was this great article by Markie Madden that I gravitated towards that I wanted to talk about in this first episode. And that is something that I think that indies are missing right now. It is a event that is perfect for you to capture revenue from. And it's the Comic-Con. They're everywhere. Right now, they are the biggest, most attended event in America. I'm not sure about Canada, Mexico, and other places, but I'm guessing they're just as popular. I've had many people tell me about Germany's Comic-Cons, and that they're off the chain just as much as American ones are. And the great thing about American Comic Cons is, as Markie points out, there's a built-in audience. There's an audience with some pocket change willing to spend some money. So, if you're a fantasy author, a sci-fi author, a horror author, if you're a horror filmmaker, a sci-fi filmmaker, you're a musician that plays maybe some metal or has, is part of the film community. These are places that you should be at. It's not a matter of not being there or should I or shouldn't I. You should go to these. This is a great marketplace for you. This is the marketplace where you're going to actually go away with a profit. Now, strategically, there's some places to go within the Comic-Con that will put you in position to succeed, like at the door where the admissions are, and that's going to be excellent. It's a great place to network. There's celebrity built in. So the reason why these things get traction is because they bring in the celebrities, and that's something that's really cool too. So you'll have a natural connection there with your audience as well. I know a particular author that actually met a celebrity that, in fact, she talked about it in our last episode, Mackenzie Floor, who met Matt Smith at a Comic-Con and then sat down and wrote a book, and it was him that she wrote about. Or at least had him in mind to play the part that she wrote. So that's something that's really interesting about Comic-Cons. I think that they also are very affordable for the most part. I mean, don't think you can go to San Diego Comic-Con, the Comic-Con, or LA. Find a niche market. There's the Oxnard Comic-Con if you're in Los Angeles. There's the Beverly Hills Comic-Con, which you may think is expensive, but it's really not. It was very affordable. There's the Carson Comic-Con. There's up here where I live. If you go to San Francisco, there's a Comic-Con. San Jose has a Comic-Con too, and that's just getting started. So and San Jose is a big city. So, but it was a little pricey, but not too bad. But there's the Lodi Comic-Con. There's outside of Portland. There's Warsaw Comic-Con. There's the Eugene Comic-Con. I mean, every city seems to have one, and they all have a celebrity that they bring into these things. I've not seen one that didn't have a pseudo-celebrity. Even if they were a C-level celebrity, they're still a celebrity, and people gravitate to that, especially people who live in that area. They're all looking for something to do. I've experienced both ends of this spectrum in terms of the book festival and the Comic-Con, and the book festivals are really dying, and they're dying because they are run so badly. They are not promoted correctly. Comic-Cons do not have that problem. They have a built-in audience, and they are promoted tremendously well. People get on the local radio. The cosplay guys are really into social media and getting the word out that they're going to be there, and latch on to that. Look in Twitter for a Comic-Con hashtag. If you look for hashtag Comic-Con, or you look for a local look at your city and the cities surrounding it, and try to find the Comic-Con there, I guarantee you when it comes around, you will be able to back up onto the trending of that Comic-Con. Every Saturday morning I see one trending. And, why not? If you live there, if you're, hey, I'm going to be at this Comic-Con, put the hashtag in there, I guarantee you're going to get an audience to come by your booth or your table. One tip I want to give people about Comic-Cons and book festivals, you got to get up and engage your audience. You got to be friendly. You got to be someone who goes out of their way to say, hey, come to my table, Don't wait for people to come to your table. Don't disengage. Don't just sit there and sign your book, put your head down. All of that is the wrong approach. If you're there, you should be approaching it like it is your business, like it is your livelihood. And for most people, it is. So go in there and make money, because you can. You can really, really do well at these things. And for all my international friends, this is, I always hear, well, there's no book festivals here. There's nothing I can do. All of these places have Comic-Cons. I'm telling you, if you search where you live now, no matter where you live around the world, you'll find one. You'll find one near you. And why not give it a shot? I mean, I know a gal in England who does some amazing things because she goes to all the Comic-Cons there. And they may not be as cheap as they are here, just simply because of the euro or whatever, but save up. Think about next year then. Look at it in long term. You're not going anywhere. Your books aren't going anywhere. Make some money on some returns that you've put some investment into. That's the way to really engage and do this. Plan ahead. Plan to do 1 or 2 next year and see how that goes. And I guarantee you'll catch the bug and you'll want to do 3 or 4 the next year. It's just natural. It works that way. And when you have success, you want to glom onto that and continue that momentum because it's all about momentum with sales. That being said, we have one more little segment to give you and then we'll bid you fair adieu. So this Friday, GoIndieNow will be presenting its next live panel discussion. And my friend Marnie has graciously accepted to host that live panel. So I'm going to leave it up to her to tell you what the panel's about and what it is and who's going to be involved. Marnie?
Hi, thanks, Joe. GoIndieNow has been gracious enough to let me talk about 2 series or not 2 series. I right now write a series. I didn't go out writing a book where I thought, I'm going to write a bunch of books until after I wrote the first book and then decided I needed more in this series. So I have gathered together Joe, Christy Stratus, I'm going to hash names and I apologize, Sunshine Somerville, ML Spencer, and Craig Gadas. I'm not sure how to say his name, but all series writers in some form. We'll have to find out more what I mean by that. Should be a good discussion about our methods, the reasoning why we chose to do a series, and just a good time meeting some great authors.
Nice. Now, so for people who are interested, is this going to be a tutorial on series, or are we just discussing the merits of a series?
As with every panel, it will depend on the authors. I feel like there might be some guides in there, but I feel like it'll also be just a perspective from each author.
Nice.
But you know what? You never know what GoIndieNow will bring you.
Well, there you have it, everybody. That was our first Week in Indies. I hope you enjoyed our show. I'm really glad you came in and talked to us. We'll be here every Thursday with something new to talk about. And please, in the comments below, let's discuss all the things that we talked about today. And if you have something you'd like to see us tackle or have some news, please email us, info@goindienow.com. And we will take that on and research it and tell the world. All right? Just remember, it's always time to go Indie Now. We'll see you on Friday with our live panel show.